I'm sure there's a lot of Shadow Priest players out there, and I figured that since I've been playing this class a lot in the Legion Alpha, and since there's been so many changes from WoD to Legion, with specifically the Shadow Priest class introducing the new resource, that I would go ahead and explain just how it works within just a couple minutes, and then show some arenas, right? So what we're going to be doing here is I have two people, Narla and Rip Wow PvP. They're both going to be my target dummies for the day, and I'm going to be explaining exactly kind of how this works. So let's dive into it. Now, right off the bat, I want to let you guys know, for those who have not researched any Shadow Priest, is that there is a new resource for Shadow Priest and many other hybrids, but specifically on Shadow Priest. It's a 0 to 100 bar, similar to how Rage works for Warrior, but it's called Insanity. Okay, so your abilities like Mind Blast, Shadow Word Void, Shadow Word Pain, Vampiric Touch, Mindbender, Mind Flay, like all these abilities generate insanity, okay? And you're building up this insanity to, eventually get into something called Void Form. Void Form now is based off an ability called Void Eruption, which in most cases right now it's instant cast for PvP because it's off of a PvP talent. It's not normally an instant cast, but it's usually like a 1.3 second cast. But with Void Origins, which you would always take in my opinion, the Void Eruption becomes instant cast, which means you can switch in to Void Form whenever you're ready to go, right? Whenever you're ready to do damage, okay? So this requires 70 Insanity to activate. So if I were to, say, build up my Insanity with Shadow Word Void on this warrior here, as you can see, I have 75 already, and I can already switch into Void Form at any point in time, right? So what we're doing here is going to go ahead and build up our Insanity, and then I'll show you how it works. Just for the Insanity. So this right here is a Void Tendril. When you Mind Flay someone, it's an artifact talent that just like slows them and does it passively. It's pretty cool. And what we're going to do here is we're pretty much just going to switch into Void Form, and then I'm going to show you exactly like how the Shadow Priest class works when you're in Void Form, because that's like when you do things. And when you're in Void Form, the main thing is that this Void Eruption ability is actually replaced with something called Void Bolt. And Void Bolt is a really, really cool ability because it allows you to spam every 2 seconds, like 2 to 3 seconds, whatever the cooldown is. It's like 2.57 or something. Every time you use that Void Bolt on something, it actually refreshes all of the dot durations on the enemy target, which is really cool. It allows you to get a really solid amount of pressure out on people, use your single target damage abilities like Mind Blast and get the procs off of the Shadow Word Pain while keeping your Shadow Word Pain up, as well as your Vampiric Touch. And then you can also use something called Void Torrent, and if you're good at Shadow Priest, you're going to be able to micromanage all of those dots on all the targets in Arena at the same time using Void Bolt. So here, what I'm going to go ahead and do here is get both of my dots up. So Vampiric Touch and Shadow Word Pain, Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain. I'm going to put my Mindbender out to generate more Insanity, switch into Void Form, and then as you can see, this button is already replaced. So I can just go ahead and Void Bolt and reset all of my dot timers right here. So in between this, if I'm getting Mind Blast procs or whatever, like I can just use this ability, keep my dots rolling, and just finish this guy off. He went ahead and dispelled them both because whatever, I guess he's just trolling me, but yeah, it's not a big deal. Like you can keep this up and it actually generates Insanity. Okay, so the longer you're in Void Form, the more haste you're gonna get while you're in Void Form. So I can just read it off for you guys. In Void Form, you gain 1% haste for every 1 second that you're in Void Form, but for every 1 second that you're in Void Form, you also drain Insanity faster, okay? So you're doing more damage, 20% more, and you're getting more haste the longer you're in Void Form, if you can micromanage that well, but at the same time, the longer you're in there, the faster it drains, so the harder it becomes to actually generate that Insanity. So if I'm going to show you what it looks like to actually kill 2 targets at once, what we're going to go ahead and do here is get both of our dots up, Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain, Mindbender on one of them, and then pop into Void Form, use our proc, use our Void Bolt, go ahead and Void Torrent when available. He might try to heal it. You can go ahead and silence him, finish him off here, right? And then as you can see, our dots are falling off. I Void Bolts hit it and refreshed him, and then I Shadow Word Death again with 2 charges, and I'm able to kill 2 targets pretty efficiently, right? And I'm only at 20 stacks of Void Form. Throughout all of Shadow Priest's doing damage, like you're going to get to about 30 void form maximum, 30 stacks of void form or lingering insanity, until it pretty much becomes impossible because you're starting to drain faster than your abilities actually generate insanity. So 30 void form is pretty much the max of, I see like 30 to 32 off of a really good void form, which pretty much means like a bloodlust in arena, right? So that's pretty cool. But also, one thing I want to touch on about Shadow Priest is the fact that you actually have a second mana bar, okay? And in alpha, this wasn't a thing. In beta, this is new. Is that you're actually pulling from 2 resources on 1 class. So you have insanity, right? But you also have this like small little mana bar. Okay, so only 220k mana. It regens pretty fast, but you really have a small mana pool compared to what say he has. He has a 1.1 million mana, right? So I have a fifth of that. Okay, so how the mana works for the hybrid classes is it pretty much takes all of your utility and your defensive spells and uses mana, okay, instead of insanity in order to use your power word shields or use your shadow mend, right? So if I cast shadow mend, which is like a flash heal, I can only cast like 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them until I go out of mana, and then I can get a 5th one off a couple seconds later. And then I'm completely out of mana. But stuff like Psychic Scream, Massive Spell takes a huge amount of mana, and Power Word Shield, Dispel Magic, your Purge, and I think that's it. Yeah, I think that is all of them. Those cost mana, okay? So you have the secondary resource that you have to manage in order to do things like dispel your teammates out with a massive spell, dispel them out of polymorphs, or keep shields on yourself in order to get more speed, or keep shields on your teammates so that you can keep them alive, or even just heal them in general in dire situations, right? That's all the stuff that you have to manage as a Shadow Priest while managing those dots, while managing the global cooldown every 3 seconds for Void Bolt while in Void form, and then while managing your Mindbender, and obviously like keeping dots up on multiple targets is the biggest thing, and then also like the Void Torrent when you're ready to go, keeping your CCs, keeping your positioning intact. Like Shadow Priest is one of those classes where you need to be a little bit more advanced in order to thrive as a Shadow Priest. But I've noticed within arena games, I'm actually out-damaging Warlocks, out-damaging, Arms Warriors, and doing really well in arena, but it's hard. You have to like keep your APM up. You have to keep doing as much as you possibly can as a Shadow Priest. But if that challenge is up to you, then definitely go for it. But what's really, interesting is that in Warlords of Troyan, our Shadow Priest was more of a burst class, right? So it's like a Devouring Plague, Silence, and, deaths, and do as much damage as you can in like that small window with your Shadow Orbs. But now it's more of a pressure class, which I think is really cool, and it offers a lot of utility. So with all of that information being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a few arenas so you can see exactly how it works in action. And yeah, you can go ahead and define your own taste on this class in Upcoming Legion. I think it's really fun. So let's go ahead and get into it.
You're was late one night when I realized that the one I love is closing her eyes to another man I know nothing about. It's that fear of the unknown that's eating me from the inside out, and it's dragging me down. And I'm about to hit the ground. Not by our orders. We'll always have the best of me. Never give up the things I love. You were the one exception. Now you have a right to say you're better off without me. But you can sit back and pretend you didn't know that this would become the end of us. This bridge that we have burned is now getting worse, and the ashes falter. Can you say that you still love us? You can stop the bridge from falling. You'll stand by and watch us stumble along. You can stop the bridge from falling. We'll stand by and watch her drown below. These thoughts cannot be contained. The memory of us are all that remain. Beauty ends at the waterfall. You made a river to drown us all. You're trying to fill the void with the hearts that you've destroyed, but you turn them to ashes and wish them the best. What's your bitterness? You can stop the bridge from falling. You'll stand by and watch us stumble along. You can stop the bridge from falling. We'll stand by and watch her drown below. Though it's hard to see you go, I have to do what's best for me. And just so you know, you'll be happy when you leave. Happy when you leave. Now, what will change? No matter how hard you try to pacify the sounds of the truth, nothing means more to me than my name and the lights for you to see. You can stop the bridge from falling. You'll stand by and watch her stumble along. You can stop the bridge from falling. What makes you think that you can stop me now? You can't stop the bridge from
I definitely hope you did enjoy this video, guys. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up as always, and you can subscribe to my channel for future Legion content. I've been doing a lot of these class overviews because it seems like you guys like this a lot. I'll definitely keep it up if you keep supporting me, and I will see you all in the next video. Cartoons out.